Hey squad, Jakus here, and I love gaming. In fact, I'm so sure that I don't want to do anything else with my life ever again that I've had my legs digitally removed by a black market graphics designer. I used the money from this to buy a brand new game. Let's see what it's about. Mountain climbing. Well, that just seems cruel. Celeste is a game about a woman who climbs a mountain. Okay, maybe I'm oversimplifying that a little bit. Celeste is about overcoming the obstacles of life, both literally and metaphorically. In-game, this is represented by a great big Canadian mountain that the protagonist, Madeline, is attempting to climb. In the game, you go from one side of the screen to the other to progress, traversing dozens of these screens, all filled with tricky challenges to complete every themed chapter. Different chapters have different mechanics. As you progress through a chapter, the challenges will get more difficult, and the chapters themselves become overall more challenging, as well as more lengthy, throughout the game. This game doesn't have the traditional enemies like most platformers. Instead, the environment is often the enemy, save for the occasional boss here and there. Your moveset is fairly simple. The standard moving and jumping, paired with a jump dash that can be used once in the air and allows the player to reach new heights and areas, along with a wall climb / wall jump combo that is used for some challenges. That jump dash is incredibly important. It recharges when you touch the ground or when interacting with some level features. This dash acts as the main way that you will be able to complete a lot of the game's challenges, as they just won't be possible without it. Getting into the chapters themselves, you start off in an abandoned city at the base of a mountain. It is here that you will meet Theo, a fellow climber like you. You'll reunite with him at some point during most chapters, and it's a nice break from the action as you have a conversation with him by a campfire or in some other peaceful, secluded area. He also mentions an Instagram account in-game, and this actually does exist. It shares behind the scenes images and other images from the in-game universe, and I think that's really cool. The second chapter features old ruins with strange, spacey blocks. Here, you will find a mirror with an off reflection of yourself. This reflection will break out and is revealed to be part of you, the game's quote-unquote antagonist. This part of you believes that climbing the mountain is a mistake and that you should give up, being a physical manifestation of the negative emotions in Madeline's head. Many have interpreted Madeline here as an analogy for depression, and while ultimately it is left up to the player to decide, that does check out. The third stage is the Celestial Resort, a dangerous, abandoned hotel inhabited by Mr. Ushiro, a ghost in more stages of denial than me thinking a girl likes me. You try to help him but become increasingly frustrated, eventually snapping at his refusal to let you leave. You engage in a boss fight of sorts where you must escape his wrath. It's a really cool moment and it creates a real turning point in the game's story. So reaching the fourth level, Madeline has a panic attack, and the player will complete a mini-game of sorts to calm her down, keeping this feather afloat. The feather acts as an important symbolism and is featured later in the game too as a coping mechanism for Madeline. This is probably the only time that I've seen a panic attack visualized in a video game, which is really interesting and undoubtedly important representation for those who suffer from anxiety. Fourth level itself is a more aesthetically calm, but still incredibly challenging venture through sunset skies featuring everyone's favourite game mechanic, wind. Yippee! The Mirror Temple is what we in the field like to call hell. This is the longest level of all and was an absolute nightmare on my first playthrough, and my second playthrough, and every other time I played it. You have to navigate a maze-like temple filled with weird puzzles and creepy eyes watching you. I'm really not a fan. Chapter 6 takes place deep within the mountain, where you will learn to cope with both the challenging level design and the deteriorating relationship between the different parts of Madeline's mind. It culminates in a climactic, intense boss battle against Madeline, where she will do anything to tear you down, but you just try to reach out to her, both physically and metaphorically. And in the end, you succeed, and the two of you will re-merge to face the final challenges the mountain holds, no longer afraid. And this is symbolized in the game by the fact that you now have 2 jump dashes for the final level. Reaching the summit requires you to face challenges from every level in the game thus far. It's a long and challenging grind, but with the power of both parts of you, you overcome every obstacle in your path. You reach the summit, and you both just sit and watch the view. You assure yourself that you will always be together, that you will always be you, and that is where it ends. Victory over mind and mountain. Celeste is truly something else. The environments are incredibly detailed with vibrant, interesting colour palettes and background props. Madeline's sprite, along with all others for that fact, are faceless but have subtle details that give them unique charms. The music is masterful. The tracks subtly change throughout the stages as the tone shifts with hope or despair as you suffer setbacks or achieve your objectives. The piano is the most common instrument in the music, which paired with synths and other instruments blend together to create an audibly pleasing and enriching and inspiring soundtrack. Lena Raine is truly a mastermind here. The themes of Celeste are important because they display a level of intimacy with the player that most games are too afraid to. The game has themes of anxiety and depression, and the main character is transgender, opening a new level of representation and identity that many players do not often feel with the characters they play as. Celeste can be interpreted differently by different people and can help people overcome the struggles they face in their own lives, their own mountains, if you will. Its tight gameplay is oh so satisfying to learn and master, and it tells an uplifting tale that can identify with its players, intertwining a complex and deeply human story with clever gameplay and level design. Celeste believes in you. The game knows that with perseverance and patience, you will overcome the challenges of the mountain and the challenges that you, the player, face in your own life. It's not often that you find a game that actively has faith in you. Celeste is a beautiful, emotional game. It has tight gameplay, stunning visuals, an important, complex story, and truly exceptional music. It is an experience that anyone who sees out won't soon forget, and a must-have for anyone who owns the very many devices it's available on. Celeste is an incredible game, and I couldn't recommend it more. Well, that's Celeste. Seeing that adventure through has inspired me to get my legs back. I wonder where they ended up. You have got to be kidding me.